So, good morning or good night, depending on where you're in the world, and welcome to another album review of The Shield on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I got not one, but two album reviews. So, there are two albums that came out. One came out on March 15th, and that album is called Couch Away, Deep Sage. And the other one came out on March 25th, and it's Blanket with Ceremonia. So, we're going to start, obviously, with Couch Away. That's the one that came out 2 weeks ago. And yeah, this is a band for people that don't know Gaucho Way. They're a band from Florida. And they started at first like they were going to do like one show and then that was going to be it. But they continued. So the sound of Gaucho Way is more like that type of like punk, post-hardcore type of sound. Think of bands like if you think of them, you think of like the Pixies mixed with Sonic Youth and other type of bands, and you get the sound that is Gaucho Way. So they're a female-fronted band, and this is an album that has 10 songs, 34 minutes in length. And something I like about this record with Gaucho Way and Deep Sage is that the production doesn't sound always like super clean because sometimes rock bands right now they all have that crisp super clean sound that can be annoying, and I really like it because this is a sound that it's can be abrasive at times but also kind of indie rockish at times, so I really like that. So this is the album cover for Gaucho Way, Deep Sage, and yeah, like I said, this is an album that uh, in the 34 minutes, it really packs a punch. So I'm going to talk of some of the tracks that I think are the highlight for me here. There's a song called Stuck in a Dream that opens the album. And that really gets, it's really energetic. And again, uh, something real good in the vocals here that it has that style where it's like spoken word and screaming at times. And sometimes she does singing, but it's really in your face and chaotic. And Stuck in a Dream uh, has some great guitars to it. They always keep it interesting on all the songs. The album really flows really well. Then you have songs like The Sharpening, that it's more like abrasive and aggressive at times. And also a song like Spaced Out. The choruses are really infectious as well. And they can also have like that indie rock type of vibes on songs like Maybe Blue, and especially the album closer, Dallas. And Dallas is the album closer, and it's a 6 minute and a half song. So it's the longer track. And on this one, I think that it's very lush, the sound. It sounds very dream-like, uh, really great bass tone to it. And I like it that it's a song that the pacing on it is really good. So it's a very interesting record. And again, the highlight for me is that I like it that it doesn't sound like that super like clean in production where everything sounds like pristine. No, no. This sounds like a band that's playing live, and it's got that attitude that a lot of music nowadays like lack. And I like it because it's got that punk energy from the 90s, and a lot of Sonic Youth. Meet the Pixies. Well, then the name of the band is Couch Away, and that's a Pixies song. So if you never heard this band, I think this is their third album, and great album. I really enjoyed it, and I think this is the type of record that if you like those bands that I mentioned, you shouldn't sleep on it. So the second band that I'm going to talk is called Blanket, and the album's called Ceremonia. And this is the cover of the album. It's very pretty album cover, and it goes with the music. So Blanket is more of a shoegaze, post-rock type of band, and they're from the UK. They used to not have a singer and be more like an instrumental band, but I think the type of music that they play, the singles are much warranted. There's sometimes some bands where singles are not important, but for this one, they are. And so they have a sound that they can go from post rock to the shoegaze and like a grungy type of feel. So it reminds me of some bands that I've gotten into the years, like I think of like Narrowhead and Teenage Wrist. And, you know, there's so many bands that I really gotten into. But this one really goes on the shoegaze side of things, like a band like Nothing. Tracks that really stand out for me, you have Nuclear Boy Scout, which opens the album. And that one opens with a more like grungy alternative type of feel. I like the distortion in the guitars, you know, they would really remind me in the distortion, you know, like something like my Bloody Valentine would do. The track Ceremonia, which I think is a single as well, it's really great as well. Then you have a track that is really more in the shoegaze, that is a track like Porcelain, that's more slower. The guitar really is very spacey and like lulls you in a blanket, uh, like the name. But then it gets a little bit heavier, but always with that like soothing sounds. And the other standout track I would say is Loom. And I think that Loom really encompasses everything that the band does. There's like a grungy shoegaze, like a grunge gaze type of sound to that song. The vocals are really always like very like dreamlike sometimes, but they can get aggressive at times. So on songs like Kaleidoscope and Nuclear Boy Scout and Ceremonia, there's part where they can get more abrasive at times. And I think it's a good balance of the aggressiveness with the more dream-like type of music. So yeah, another album that I really enjoyed, and that's why I decided I want to talk about these two bands. Both bands, even though they're kind of like different in sounds, they have that similarity that they both would have been from the 90s. Yes, the Gaucho Way album is more raw and in your face, and Blanket sounds more shoegazy, and the production is a little bit more crisp than the other one. But both albums really have attitude, and one is 34 minutes and the other one is 35 minutes. So they're short albums, 10 tracks each. So do not sleep on Gaucho Way and Blanket, two great releases. So I want to know if you like this, like if I do some album reviews where I talk about like two albums, maybe they're like shorter albums, and I just give you a little bit of what my favorite tracks are and my impression of the record and the sound. So if you like both these albums, let me know what are your favorite tracks. I would want to know. And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to give me a like and do not forget to subscribe. That helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourself. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.